Hello my loves, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a new video all about how your mind, your thoughts can alter and change your appearance. I've made a couple of these videos in the past, but I keep stumbling upon new information that I find incredibly interesting. And so here we are again with a new video all about this topic. And we're gonna get into kind of a little bit of the science behind it, why this happens, and there's even been therapists who notice this in their patients. For example, a patient will come in, they're struggling with a lot of different thoughts, a lot of different emotions and things like that, and they come in and their eyebrows are like, man, they got this like angry face going on, or whatever the case may be. It's different case by case, of course. But for example, they'll go through therapy and they'll soften up their way of thinking because they're, getting help with their mind, their emotions, they're getting more in balance. And then all of a sudden their eyebrows soften up, their face softens up, and they're looking entirely different. And sometimes, we notice this even subtly. For example, when someone's really tired, they haven't gotten a lot of sleep, you can see it's like written on their face, right? And in their body language too. So your thoughts can actually alter your emotional state, which alters your physical state, which alters the way your face is, it alters your body, and there's a whole bunch more in this. We're gonna get into it in this video. We're gonna talk about why that is and certain different things that happen when you change your mind and how that affects your physical appearance. So if you guys are stoked about this video, then without further ado, let's hop right into it. One little quick disclaimer that I want to add in here is that you are absolutely perfect the way that you are. Don't ever feel like you need to change for anyone or from anything or even for yourself. Falling in love with yourself the way that you are is always top-notch kind of stuff. But even once you do fall in love with who you are and you start to get really confident, that will express itself on the outside too. And it's always a beautiful thing to see someone who's confident, who loves themselves, but not overly loves themselves, because sometimes you can take that a little bit too far and we get into the egoic kind of area, the narcissistic area, and sometimes that's not good either. So having a balance between, being humble but still being confident and in loving yourself on a healthy level, that's what we aspire to, guys. But regardless, here's this video full of good information, and that's actually the state that you want to be at that will give you this soft yet confident look that's really attractive, and people kind of see that, right? So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so first off, as we know, your mind can affect the emotional expression that you have on your face. And your emotional expression is written on your face whether you think it is or not, and sometimes it's our internal thoughts, the way that we even think about ourselves that sometimes gets expressed, right? So maybe we're even having a good time, but we have something called resting bitch face, and it might be because we internally don't feel good about ourselves, or there could be internal subconscious thoughts that are not even in the forefront of your mind that are still going on that kind of weigh you down. Stress in your life can cause that. Lots of different things in life can cause you to have a certain expression that's written on your face, right? And so you can tell when someone's in a really good emotional state because they get bubbly, they're all happy, they're smiley, their eyebrows are raised, they just look soft and really light and things like that. So your emotions dictate your facial expression so much. Of course, we all know that. And that's how you read emotions off of people, is because you can see it written on their face. And so if you start to change and alter the way that you think, the way that you feel, you'll actually alter what your face looks like, right? We all know that super nice model face is it's relaxed, but intrigued. And of course, we also know that this alters your body language as well. People that have very straight posture, usually that's associated with a very attractive person, a very attractive trait, is someone who has really good posture, because if you're leaned over, it kind of says that you are maybe a bit scared or in more of a protective mode, or it's a lack of confidence and things like that. You kind of feel like, oh, I want to be unseen, I want to be in the corner. It's kind of associated with those traits and qualities, right? But if you are someone who has really good posture, you sit up really straight, you stand really straight, you walk really tall, that's someone who people perceive that as confident. People perceive that as someone who's assertive, knows their place, is really sure of themselves, and all those things end up equating to something that's really attractive most of the time. So the way that you feel inside deliberately shows on the outside. And it also changes what you are then attracted to. So for example, when you're feeling depressed or sad, it's hard to get out of bed, it's hard to get motivated. Therefore, usually you want to, you're attracted to eating comfort foods. You're attracted to like finding more comfort and being less motivated. You're more in a recuperating stage, and so you probably eat unhealthy foods. You're more attracted to unhealthy foods at the very least. Your body craves that. Your body craves to stay more stagnant, and it's hard to get motivated and get out of bed. So when you're in a more sad state, which happens once in a while, it's not a bad place to be. We all go there. We all get there. I have my days of feeling this way, so don't feel bad if you do feel this way. But when you work on getting yourself out of this, when you work on facing whatever it is that's blocking you, and you're able to overcome those things, you're able to find that motivation, find that inspiration again, then you're going to be attracted to, again, the healthier foods, the ones that give you energy, the ones that help you feel not so bogged down and weighed down. Because when we eat, like, for example, like cake, cookies, potato chips, things like that, unhealthy, very fatty foods, those end up weighing you down. Of course, you're gonna feel like taking a nap after eating those, right? And so usually that affects your posture in a bad way. You get bloated, all these different types of things. But when you can change your mental state, when you can finally find a way to overcome certain things, and you can find happiness, you can find that inspiration, this is when you're gonna, again, be attracted to being more active. And of course, being more active helps build that muscle. It helps us de-bloat. It helps us feel really good. And when we feel really good, we know that in our facial expression, in our body language and everything, that translates. You know, it's a whole language. You can tell when someone's really high energy, when they're feeling really good. And you can also tell when somebody's feeling a little bit low. And again, I don't want you guys to feel bad about feeling either of those states. Both have purpose, right? And so when we're feeling low, this is when we need to ask ourselves, what is causing this? And a lot of the times there is something actually causing this emotion. In fact, every single time, your emotions are telling you when something is off balance. Your emotions are telling you when you are feeling when something's out of alignment, right? Your emotions are that guidance system that's telling you when something's off and when something's not right. We need to look at something, we need to change something. So maybe, is it your job that's making you feel a certain way? Is it your relationship that's making you feel a certain way? Is it different other people in your life that are making you feel this way? What is causing this internal emotion, and how can we face this? How can we alter this? Maybe we need to have some tough conversations with people that are in our lives so we can straighten some things out. And you know, that's usually a hard thing to face, but once we do face that, we're able to liberate ourselves from those things. And even just recognizing what is causing this can be a huge liberation in itself, right? You know, maybe it's a job that's making you feel the certain way. So maybe we need to change something. Maybe we need to have a talk with whoever is our boss, or maybe if we are our own boss, maybe we need to change up our schedule. We need to somehow de-stress. Maybe we need to make more time for ourselves, right? There could be so many different things that are causing you to feel emotionally out of alignment. And so if you can figure out what those are, if you can face these things, you know, because it's not going to go away until you face it. And would you rather continue feeling this exact way, or would you rather face it and, you know, overcome it, even though it's hard? It can seem like a really daunting task to face certain things, right? But it actually helps us, because then we're no longer feeling this internal like turmoil. We end up facing it. We can then cure it, and then it can disappear. We can let it go. We can have the release. And so this is actually really important to returning to an emotionally healthy place. And so if you're wanting to feel confident, if you're wanting to have that magnetic like appearance and persona, the thing that people just feel off of you, this comes from your internal emotional state, right? Because that's what gets reflected on the outside. It gets reflected in your posture. It gets reflected with what you're attracted to, your facial expressions, the foods that you're attracted to, the amount of activity that you're attracted to, right? And we know that with activity, we end up making ourselves internally really healthy, because it's healthy to exercise. It's very healthy to exercise. Of course, you don't have to overexert yourself. That's never good, but exercise, as we know, is very healthy, and we're more motivated to be more active when we're in a good emotional state. We get excited to be active rather than being excited to just sit in our bed all day. And of course, I have those days too. Those serve good purpose for me, because those are also emotionally healing. But to do that for days, weeks on end is no bueno. We need action, we need activity, we need motion to keep us moving forward. And that is what creates a very good emotional state internally, and it gets reflected on the outside, baby. And I do also want to say, for those of you that have maybe been in a perpetual state for a long period of time, it can feel very foreign to get outside of that, because your brain is creating new peptides based on the new emotions that you're feeling. So once we start to change our emotional state, maybe we're so used to feeling blah that when we start to change our emotional state, it feels very foreign and it feels very weird. And your body has a hard time getting used to it. It's because it doesn't have as many receptors for those peptides in your body. And so your body's like, what is this? I don't know what this is. You know, and it's new neural pathways that are being created, right? We haven't used them in a while maybe, or maybe we're creating whole brand new ones because maybe we never had a proper workout routine before. Maybe we never had like a balanced, healthy diet that we followed so a lot more adamantly, right? And so it can feel really foreign. You're creating new pathways in your brain. You're creating new peptides, which are chemicals that are created based on what you're thinking, the emotions that you're feeling, right? And so these getting created in your brain, all these new things can feel really weird at first. And so our ego, our whole mind, our whole body is like, no, let's go back to what's comfortable. Your body wants to chase after what's comfortable because that's what you're used to. And the body always wants to go back into what's comfortable because it's already emotionally attached to creating those specific chemicals and those certain hormones in your body. It's already so used to that. It's used to firing and wiring those specific neural pathways in your brain that keep you in the same state as you were before. It's really hard to step outside of that because your body and your brain are not used to it. They're literally not used to it. It's like if you've never had, I don't know, what's a good example? If you've never eaten a certain type of food before and your body's like, what is that? It's because you do not yet have the proper microbiome to digest it. So your body might be like, what is that? It's so weird. And you know, for a little bit, for the first few times of eating that, your body's probably gonna be like, oh, what do I do with that? Until you build up the microbiome to digest it, right? So it's the same sort of scenario. If you start to change your emotional internal state, maybe are introducing new emotions, you're like, I just wanna be happy, I wanna be active. You know, sometimes we have to start doing it first, and then it slowly becomes natural, because at first it's not going to be natural. It's like it feels very forced, and it feels forced is because your body's not used to it. The neural pathways are getting built. The new peptides are getting released. Your body's like, what is this? Continue to do it. As you continue to do it, your body then gets used to this. All of a sudden it becomes a subconscious habit. All of a sudden it becomes your natural state of being. And as it becomes your natural state of being, you yourself begin to change. The expression that you naturally have on your face begins to change. The posture that you have begins to change and shift. And then people perceive you in a new way. And this alters the way that you are perceived by the rest of the world. It alters the way that you even see yourself. And so introducing self-love, introducing healthy feelings, introducing healthy food, healthy activity is so positive, you guys. It is so positive and changes you for all different reasons. You'll find yourself attracted to a new, like maybe style. You'll find yourself attracted to doing new activities, and this will change so much about you. And this causes you to activate different muscles in your face, which changes your facial expression. It alters the way that you look. All of a sudden, you know, you're getting more defined in certain areas, and you're getting more relaxed in other areas and softer in certain areas. And this equates to your emotional feelings. As we know, like when people look really happy, it's very attractive. It's like magnetic. We're like, ooh, that person looks really fun. They look really exciting. Sometimes that's like really magnetic, right? And so, therefore, you can alter your appearance based on your mind, based on your thoughts. And so, that is all of that in a nutshell. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future. And just so you know, my love, you are perfect the way you are, and I'm sending you all of my love. Love you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed this type of content. And yes, I love you guys. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.